The 3-2 Virginia Tech Hokies, looking to bounce back after their first loss in ACC play, are set to host the Duke Blue Devils. A really fascinating matchup in my opinion. This Duke roster is very interestingly constructed. I think that's the best way to put it. But they've got some guys we could see in the NFL in our Madden 26 franchise, which is going to be starting later this week on Friday. The team reveal premiere will be tomorrow, and the final part of voting is in the description of this video. So last time around, we did not play a game. We went through our recruiting special, looking at the scouting reports and watching some film of many of our top recruiting targets. We've got a good nucleus of players who have already committed to the program on both sides of the ball, but we also had our first decommit with edge rusher Fabian Bean flipping to Miami. He was a guy I was really wanting to get, but does not fit the playing style deal breaker. And then we also lost out on offensive tackle Vince Timms. He's going to Clemson. We already have 7 4-stars, though, the 8th ranked class nationally. I don't think it's going to end this high. I think it's just that we've gotten off to a great start this year. A lot of our top targets have already committed to us. But this is a really good group. A couple of good edge rushers with Daniels and Fina, a couple of good skill position guys, and of course, a quarterback in Cam Kingsbury, a player I'm really excited about, who I think will certainly be in the mix for the QB1 position here next season. We've got a couple open spots after taking those 2 guys off, and we have 435 recruiting hours to divvy up, and that will be later today. Let's start with where this team is going into the Duke matchup. We're only going to play 1 game today. I just think it makes logistically the most sense. Over our last 6 games, those will all be 2 games per episode. But today, this week, will get its own video. Through the first 5 games, the biggest strength of the offense has been the ball control. We're not turning the ball over. Clyde Poole is not throwing an interception. I still want to see more big plays, and I definitely want to see more consistency with the run defense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think around the line of scrimmage, we've been good. The pass rush, the run defense, although we could not stop the run in our most recent game against Louisville. We lost that one 34-19, our first ACC game of the year. So we're certainly looking to bounce back if we want to make noise in what looks to be a very competitive ACC with a lot of really, really strong teams. We certainly don't want to fall behind too much. We at least want to be in the race towards the top of the conference. We're not even on the graphic. We're so far low. Louisville already has 3 wins. Clemson, we know how good they are. SMU looks dominant. They've been the best team in the conference so far. I mean, at least we're tied with Miami, who's really good. But we're tied with them at the bottom, which is not so good. So let's check out our opponent, the Duke Blue Devils. This is a really interesting roster because they're 75 overall, but they have clear strengths and weaknesses. The defense is really good and the offense is really not good. Now, I will say, they've only lost to ranked teams. TCU, they got blown out by Notre Dame, and Brendan Holloway, the current QB1 in this draft, this being maybe his weakest performance of the year. Duke starting quarterback Mark Erlery got injured in that game. He is still out. He will not play today. And then they most recently lost to Stanford and their star quarterback Isaiah Timp. So they've beaten all the not-so-good teams on their schedule, but they've lost all the ranked opponents. With Mark Erlery out, it'll be the redshirt senior Darren Hoke. Really good runner, but not as accurate and is just not as good of a passer as Erlery. Their top running back, Marcus Myland, also out. So if this offense already wasn't bad enough, QB1 will not play. RB1 will not play. The pass rush, though, you should be really excited about with Fernell Edwards, the redshirt senior, and Kabal Monroe. 97 speed. This is one of the most athletic defensive line prospects I have ever seen. They've got a really good group of linebackers as well, although their top guy, Franhan Moses, also will not play in this game. We've got 2 players visiting, Javon McLeod and Niles Coldclaw, both of whom are very talented 4-stars. I'm hoping to seal the deal on McLeod, while for Coldclaw, it's really close. He's the 54th ranked player nationally, had a good visit at Arizona last week, and Texas is certainly in the mix as well. So it's imperative that we have a good visit with him and are able to land him. So let's get this show on the road. Virginia Tech rocking the orange uniforms today. We're in the month of October. It's becoming fall. It's becoming football weather. So it feels right that we rock the orange jerseys today as the 3-2 Hokies look to get their first ACC win of the year. We will start on offense. Not very efficient on this side of the ball. In our loss against Louisville a couple of weeks ago, Clyde Poole only completing just over half of his throws. Is on 3rd and 17. Poole on the run. He's got John Trey Hickson but he only gets 16. And Virginia Tech is going to have to start this game with a quick 3-and-out. Duke with their opening drive. RPO. Hoke goes short. Nice catch and a nice broken tackle. The freshman tight end, Evan Campbell, with the first down. Play action on second down. Jeronimo Rodriguez in the backfield with a sack. He had 2 against Louisville. He really seems to be getting comfortable here on this defense. That's his 4th sack of the year. And that'll make it a 3rd down and 14 for the Blue Devils. Hoke looks to throw it. Under pressure, goes short. It's Davis Oranger, their number 1 receiver. And he gets around 8. So the defense is able to get the stop. And that'll lead to the Virginia Tech offense getting it back. Not much going for either team on their opening drives. Play action. Poole rolls out to the right, hoping someone gets open. He connects with Trevor Adams to the 45. Adams had an incredible touchdown catch in the loss against Louisville in our most recent game. 3rd down now. Poole floats it up for the end zone. 1-on-1. It is caught! Nazir Ishmael mosses the corner. There is a flag. I think this one's counting anyway. Defensive pass interference from Nicholas Swain. And it did not matter because he got babied anyway by Nazir Ishmael using all of his 6'5" frame to reach the top of the cookie jar and make the grab. 7-0 lead for the Hokies. Duke has it back, looking to respond offensively. 3rd and 7. Hoke looks to throw it. He is hit as he tosses it up, and it's caught. How did he catch that one? Trent Counsell mossing the cornerback, Jair Hill. 2nd down and 4 now for Duke. Little over 3 to go in the first. Hoke up the middle, floats it up. It's caught. Counsell again, wrapped up near the red zone by a couple of guys, including Darius Penny. 3rd and inches, just under 2 to go in the first quarter. Sergio Ring barely gets the first down. Samson Abbott read the play well, tracking behind him, but he's not able to bring him down shy of the marker. And Duke now has it in striking distance. They'll go back to Ring. He loses yardage on first down. The best world brings him down, living up to his namesake. Ring gets it back with a spin move on 2nd and 11. Breaks the tackle from Morrison and is wrapped up near the end zone by the redshirt freshman standout, Colby Cook. Now at the 2, they'll go to the backup running back, Ogletree. Cuts ahead, collides into the end zone. A Superman dive for the touchdown. And Alex Ogletree ties it at 7 for Duke. We've got a game here in Blacksburg as he absorbs the contact and really leads on the hit with number 21, Elihu Gold, defensively for Virginia Tech, as the Hokies get it back late in the first quarter. Poole keeps it on the read option, and he is chased from behind. Seth Pryor, one of the many standouts on this defense, brings him down. 3rd and 3, Poole hit as he throws. It's caught by Brandon Marbury, the senior tight end, and that will wrap things up here in the first quarter, tied at 7. Both quarterbacks, 6 of 7. They have each been really efficient. Hoke with 67 yards, while Poole has 114 already, including that really nice throw in the end zone for Nazir Ishmael. First play of the second quarter, Ashwell Virgo. We said we're going to get him the ball more. He's gotten it a little bit today and has been largely ineffective, losing yards there. 3rd down and 9. Poole calls for a switch, joined by Mark Armstrong in the backfield as he floats it up for Ishmael again, who cannot hang on. This time it's broken up. Nicholas Swain with the hit. Another Moss. Who are these guys on this Duke offense, and why are they catching everything? I mean, some of these catches are just ridiculous. Elihu Gold was draping over the receiver, Demetrius Titus, who still caught it. 2nd and 4. Hoke looks to throw it. Has time. Dumps it off short. The running back, Sergio Ring, makes the first guy miss and is leveled by Cook. But Duke is getting close to the end zone with a chance to take the lead. 3rd down and 2. Handoff, Ring. Breaks the initial hit, but is wrapped up. Shy of the yards to gain. Carmen Drake, who I think has been our best player defensively. Chip shot field goal from the right hash. 27-yarder for Eric Stevenson. Oh, he missed it! Wide to the right. And Duke is held off the board in the red zone. Hokie Bird standing on business. Hell yeah! Love to see it from our mascot as Duke does not score on this possession, and Hokie Bird was pretty fired up about it. 2nd and 1. Armstrong up the middle. Whoop! Juke move. Armstrong still up, and it's a gain of 22. Mark Armstrong, of course, did not start the year off well, but I think he's really settled in nicely for us on this offense, proving why he is the best running back on this team. Hickson in motion, play action. Poole goes short for Hickson, and that play did not work at all. Duke reads it perfectly for a loss of 5, and that'll make it a 3rd and 15 with 3:13 to play in the first half. Poole rolls out to the right, under pressure, has a couple guys open, he'll go deep. Marbury inside the 25 with a spin move. He broke that defender's ankles. 60 yards already in the first half for Brandon Marbury. Nearing the 2-minute mark, Poole looks to throw it on 1st down, under pressure, and he is sacked. The Duke defense in the backfield for the first time as he's sacked by Dakota Van Dyke. 3rd and 15. Poole looking under pressure. Marbury was open early in that route, but he was not the initial read, and Poole did not see him in time. He only dumps it off for Virgo, who's wrapped up by Jake Largent. That'll bring out the field goal team. It is the senior Ashton Lemon. 36-yarder from the right hash for the senior. Oh, dear. Oh, it went in. I was worried once I saw the kicking meter move around, it was going to be way off, but it ends up going right down the middle. Lemon still having a perfect season. He has not missed yet, as it's 10-7. Minute 10 to go in the first half. Another nice catch. That's Riley Furloin, the standout sophomore who's had a great year, holds on to the football. From the 41, pocket collapses and Hoke is sacked. Carmen Drake and Jensen Diglio bring him down. Both guys off the opposite edges leave Hoke with no room to go. 3rd and 18, Hoke looks to throw it. Looking deep, and it is tipped and caught! You have got to be kidding me. This is insane. Riley Furloin over top of the free safety, Justice Watkins. How are these guys catching everything thrown their way? This is insane. Duke seems to be in no rush, though. They're going to run the ball with 20 seconds as Ogletree gets 6. They are going to use their last timeout. It seems like they're in no hurry at all, treating this like a regular drive with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Out of timeouts, 3rd and 4. Hoke steps up the middle, scrambles, slides for the 1st down. They've got to get back to the line of scrimmage, though. Why are they in no hurry? The clock runs out, and Duke is not going to score, and that'll wrap up the first half. 10-7. It's a low-scoring game, but I feel like both offenses have moved it well down the field. Duke has left a lot of points off the board, from the missed field goal to that last drive where they really screwed things up with the clock. And then we've left some meat on the bone as well. That last possession when we kicked the field goal on that 3rd down play, Poole could have thrown it to Brandon Marbury open in the end zone. Overall, though, both quarterbacks have been terrific. Clyde Poole, 11 of 14, 143 yards. Problem is, he's dueling with a backup right now. Darren Hoke, 12 of 15, 149. These Duke receivers are catching everything thrown their way. Our coverage has not been that bad. We've been smothering these guys, such as this catch by Furloin. They are holding on to every football in the stratosphere. As long as it's not an awful throw, they're coming down with it. Another deep ball, wide open, Oranger, and it's overthrown. Darren Hoke had a touchdown on that play. That was supposed to be number 8, Jair Hill's man, and he just completely whiffed on the rep. Armstrong fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by Duke. Ball don't lie, I guess. Virginia Tech turns it over for the first time all year. We've had a number of fumbles that we've picked up. Armstrong fumbled it in the Kansas game and lost it, but they reversed it. That was clearly out, though. No need to bring it back. We've got to get a stop, and that's a good start. Geronimo Rodriguez, his 2nd sack of the game. He has 4 sacks so far in ACC play, and we're only in his 2nd conference game. He's been dominant so far in the ACC slate, as that'll make it a 3rd down and long. Hoke, under pressure, he's sacked again! A hat trick! Back-to-back sacks for Geronimo Rodriguez. And Duke is going to have to settle for a field goal, not capitalizing off the turnover. This is a 49-yarder for Stevenson. He missed one from 27. And this kick is good. It squeaks through. And we're tied at 10. Very good defensive drive, though. And I think part of the reason is because we did make a switch. After Jair Hill got completely cooked on that previous possession, I replaced him with the true freshman Smoke Lewis on the outside, and then Caleb Fleming, the redshirt freshman. We're going to give him some reps in the slot. Try to switch things up as Clyde Poole scrambles for the first down. Poole, very quiet first half on the ground. End around for Trevor Adams. He is thrown to the ground. Number 1, Kabal Monroe. The standout junior has a lot of NFL scouts watching him in this game. Couple of TFLs. He's been pretty productive. We'll take a deeper look into him later in this game. 2nd and 14. Hickson jukes his way for the first down. And the loss of yards from Adams proves to not really be a big deal. 3rd and 10. Poole is sacked. The middle of the line collapses. Dakota Van Dyke brings him down again. And the Blue Devils will get possession back. We're tied at 10. Here's Alex Ogletree with a spin move. Darius Penny, number 1. He was leaning on that play. Now a 3rd and 3. Hoke alone in the backfield. Scrambles, looking deep, and it's nearly intercepted. Justice Watkins read the play perfectly, but how did he not catch it? That was right in his hands. Virginia Tech gets it back on 2nd down. Poole scrambles to the left side. Has a wide open man deep. It's Hickson nearing the 40. Poole was originally going to run on that play, but with Hickson holding all that space, he figures, yeah, I might as well get a few extra yards through the air instead. 20 seconds to go in the 3rd. Poole's going to go short. It's Mark Armstrong, gets a nice block from Adams and is nearing the 20. We did not have a very good quarter offensively, but a couple of nice throws by Clyde Poole will set us up nearing the red zone towards the end of the 3rd. Poole looking for Marbury, hauls it in towards the sideline through 3. We've got ourselves a good one. Tied at 10, but Virginia Tech is marching on the doorstep inside the 5-yard line as we take a look at our rankings. How is Ohio State number 2? I feel like Georgia, Notre Dame, and SMU have all clearly been better than the Buckeyes, as we talked about a little bit in the last episode. That'll bring us into the 4th quarter. The Hokies looking to punch it in. 2nd and goal at around the 2-yard line. The freshman, Esteban Cabrera, in the backfield. He's close, but no cigar. That will make it a 3rd and goal from around the 1. And a goal line set. Cabrera, again, the running back in the game, as he gets it and is thrown down for a loss at the 4 by Josh Vaccaro. And that'll give us a big 4th and goal decision. We're going to go for it. I know it's gutsy. We haven't scored yet in the second half. Field goal takes the lead, but we want a touchdown. Poole calls for a switch at the line, looks to throw it. He's got a wide open Nazir Ismail for the lead. Ishmael's 2nd touchdown of the game, and it's 17-10. So Poole's audible was for Brandon Marbury to take an out route, and then Nazir Ismail to go for a slant. We figure with those guys going in opposite directions, that may throw off the defense. Somebody might be wide open, and that's exactly the case. Marbury was the initial read. I thought it was going to be him, but instead Ishmael had nobody around him. 3rd and inches, wide open, one-handed catch by Demetrius Titus, wrapped up near the 40 by Teron Morrison. First of all, that was awful coverage by the other starting outside corner, Elihu Gold. Second of all, what a catch. These Duke receivers had the greatest hands I've ever seen. This is unbelievable. 2nd and 4, under 7 to go. Campbell, the tight end, is in motion. Ogletree wrapped up behind the line. It's Braylon White, the sophomore, who's been quiet this year, makes the play, and that'll bring us a pivotal 3rd down and 5 at the 35. I don't quite think they're in field goal range. This is still 4-down territory, as it is broken up. Oh my God, they didn't catch the ball. Smoke Lewis, number 2. The true freshman corner is the one with the deflection. Duke is going to go for it. Here is Hoke. His pass is caught for a 1st down by Riley Forloin. Good coverage again by Lewis, but he's unable to jar it out for a 2nd play in a row. 6 minutes to go now. Here is Hoke. Steps up in the pocket under a little pressure. Scrambles to the right side. Looks to run with it. And he gets around 5. That should have been a sack. We had multiple chances on that play. 2nd and 5, clock is moving, 5.5 to go. Hoke rolls out, scrambles, runs it again inside the 10 as he slides under Elihu Gold. And Duke is now getting very close to the end zone with a chance to tie it up on 1st and goal. Ogletree gets it, fumble! And it's quickly scooped up by Hoke. The booth would review if it was a fumble. It says it's our challenge. Obviously, I wouldn't. Ultimately, the play would be reversed, although I kind of think it was a fumble, but it doesn't really matter. It's the difference of like a yard. So it's not really that big of a deal. If we had recovered it, that would have been a different story. That was Noah Singleton with the tackle. 2nd and goal. Hoke's pass is broken up. Big hit by Colby Cook as Forloin does not catch that one. 3rd and goal, under 5 to go. Hoke and empty. He is sacked on the play. 5th of the game for the defense. It's Quincy Akindele who brings him down, and Duke is going to kick the field goal. So I guess they have enough trust in their defense to possibly get a stop. 32-yarder for Stevenson. It is good. He's 2 for 3 today. A little less stressful than the last kick. So Duke is putting trust in their extremely talented defense. We'll see if it pays off. Poole looks to throw it. He's picked off! First play of the drive is an interception as the play is made by Vince McIver. First interception of the year thrown by Poole. Armstrong hurts his hamstring, and Duke was clearly right to trust their defense. They only needed one play to get it back. Hoke loses yardage on 2nd down. Akindele again with the TFL. Braylon White hurts his leg. Our team is falling apart right now. This is unbelievable. 3rd down and 7 now for Duke. If they don't get it, I'm curious if they kick or go for it. As Hoke looks for the end zone, nearly intercepted again. Watkins has dropped 2 in this 2nd half, and they're going to go for it here on 4th and 7. This could be it. Our defense needs to get a stop here following the turnover offensively. With 3:43 to go, Hoke looks to throw it into triple coverage. It's tipped and caught! You have got to be kidding me! Demetrius Titus has it land in his hands. Hoke throws it into triple coverage. We bat it away, and it's somehow caught. This is insane. The ball keeps bouncing Duke's way. 1st and goal, Alex Ogletree. 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Blue Devils take the lead. I have never seen anything like this. There have been about 10 plays that should have been incomplete that the defense, for the most part, did the right thing, with the exception of a couple of really bad plays in man coverage, but everything's being caught. And now the offense has to respond. Esteban Cabrera with a gain of 11. Good start to the drive. Poole throwing his first interception of the year on the last drive, looking to rebound with less than 3 to go. We're going to go back to the ground. Virgo gets nothing. Seth Pryor, he's had a great game. Brings him down. 2nd and 10. Virgo in the backfield again as it's play action. Poole under pressure, and he is sacked. Kabal Monroe brings him down. Poole is always able to outrun defensive linemen, but Kabal Monroe is one of the very few guys on the football field who is faster than Clyde Poole. NFL teams are drooling over the athleticism of this kid, a former 5-star recruit who hasn't really been able to put it together. Played sparingly as a freshman, improved as a sophomore, but was inconsistent and missed time due to a suspension. But he's really figured things out this year. That was his 5th sack. He's had a great game, but I cannot say the same for Fernell Edwards, the other highly regarded defensive end on this team. He's undersized. He's not the most athletic, although I do think he is good get-off the line of scrimmage. But the guy knows how to find the quarterback. 14.5 sacks as a sophomore, 16 as a junior. He's at 5.5 this year. He doesn't have the NFL traits, but he's got the production, and you cannot avoid those sack numbers being that large. That'll bring us to a pivotal 3rd down and 15. Poole, under some pressure from Fernell Edwards, goes across the field. It's caught by Marbury for a gain of around 9. 4th and 6, you got to go for it here, right? The biggest play, not just of the game, but probably of our season so far. 4th down and 6. Poole looks to throw it, rolls to the right. On the run, he's got a few open receivers and finds Jontre Hickson. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, and he's tackled out of bounds by Swain in the red zone. A huge gain of around 45 yards for Jontre Hickson, the longest offensive play of the game for either team. We'll go back to the ground. Cabrera on 1st down gets nothing. We're not really in a hurry now that we're in the red zone, as on 2nd down. Poole scrambles to his left, looks to run with it, and he is tackled after a solid gain of around 8. That'll make it a 3rd and 2 with 1 minute left to go in the 4th quarter. Poole looks to throw it again, and it is dropped by Tevison Jackson. We've got a decision to make here on 4th and 2. It's a 28-yarder from the left hash for Lemon, but we're this close. We're playing to win. RPO, Cabrera is stopped! The Duke defense It's Van Dyke. I wanted to go for the RPO because it would give us two choices. We could throw it to Nazir Ismail, but he was covered, so I had to run the ball, and that didn't work either. Duke was prepared for both. Duke with a first down to start the drive. That is possibly a death blow for Virginia Tech. It's Titus, and we've got to use our first timeout. Now they're going to run the ball. Ogletree to the outside, loses yardage, and he's hurt. Teron Morrison with the tackle. Not only do they lose yards, but Duke has to call a timeout. That's a huge deal for us because that's going to give us 40 extra seconds, essentially. 2nd and 12 now. Has the door been reopened for Virginia Tech? Hoke will throw it. Wide open, Oranger, and it's incomplete as Singleton is hurt. So the incomplete pass also stops the clock, and now it's a 3rd down and 12. They're going to run it. Hoke with room to the right, and he is tracked down from behind. Teron Morrison saves the game with that tackle, and Virginia Tech will have one more chance. The defense is able to get the stop and hold on to a timeout. 27 seconds, one timeout for Virginia Tech. Poole on first down under a ton of pressure, has to go short. Virgo, juke move, gets 8, and I feel like we've just got to use the timeout right away. Down to 20 seconds. My goal is to just get in field goal range. We don't need to go for the end zone. Let's just get these points and tie it. Poole under a ton of pressure, got to get rid of it as he throws it away. It's hard dealing with two really good edge rushers because both sides of the pocket are collapsing. Poole rolls out on 3rd and 2. He will scramble for the first down, but not much more. We're moving the ball a little bit, but we're taking too long. There's 10 seconds left. Poole scrambles again. He'll look to run with it once more, and he gets around 9. But the problem is there's 5 seconds left. He was out of bounds, so that's good. The clock has stopped. Virginia Tech getting back to the line quickly. Poole looks to throw it, goes short, and it's broken up. Probably a good thing it wasn't caught. Now with 2 seconds left, we just got to throw up the Hail Mary. We're certainly not in field goal range for Lemon. He doesn't have a super strong leg, and this kick would be from 58 yards. For the ball game, Poole rolls out to the right, under pressure, hit as he throws it, it's picked off again! Richard Mongier with the interception, pushed out of bounds by the running back, Ruben Woods, and Duke hangs on to beat the Hokies 20-17. This feels like an extremely winnable game that we let slip from our fingertips. Duke constantly gave us chances to get back into the game. They left a lot of points on the board, but it was really the first interception with around 4 minutes to go, down by 4, that really led to the spiral. It also doesn't help that Duke's receivers were catching everything within the vicinity. As long as Hoke threw it within 5 yards of his target, they were going to come down with it. Those receivers for Duke were unbelievable in this game. Virginia Tech 0-2 in ACC play. I thought Clyde Poole was really good. He had an impressive first half. He did it to 2 interceptions. But otherwise, I thought he played fantastic through the air. He was not effective on the ground, though. Only Mark Armstrong was efficient, and he had the fumble. We turned it over for the first, second, and third time this year in the second half, although I can't really get on Clyde for the second pick. 2 scores for Ishmael. Marbury was really good. Hickson was really good. Offensive line, as they kind of have throughout the year, ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. And then on defense, it's hard to blame these guys. Yeah, the Duke receivers were catching all those crazy passes. We needed to come down with some turnovers. Watkins with a couple of drops, but we only allowed 20 points. The defense is not to blame for this loss. I think it's more on the offense. Darren Hoke was solid, especially for a backup. He can really run it, I think. Ogletree with 2 scores, and then through the air. The MVPs of this game were the receivers. They made every catch in the book. Offensive line for Duke was not great. Their defense, though, was really solid. Kabal Monroe looked the part of the first rounder. Fernell Edwards, not so much. Van Dyke with a sack and a half. Seth Pryor was really good. And then obviously the 2 interceptions really hurt us, especially the first one. That play pretty much lost us the game. So before we simulate the week, we've got a few orders to push through in terms of recruiting. Obviously, I mentioned coming into the episode that we had a number of guys commit this past week, but also lost Fabian Bean, who ultimately flipped. Still a good 7-person class so far. I wanted to have Kiki Alcala visit this week, but South Carolina already had him scheduled. We took some points off of him last week, and that was a mistake. Everybody's going after him really hard. We can't have him come week 9 or week 10 now because he has other visits those weeks. So, long story short, it is not looking good for Alcala. I'm going to continue to put 50 points on him, though, and see what happens. I'm also going to fully scout a lot of the players who we have not fully scouted. Most of these guys we did in the last episode, and I went back and changed the save file, but I'll update that here. Otherwise, this is what the points are going to look like this week. Of course, we had Javon McLeod visit this week. Doesn't help that we lost, especially considering that they view Duke as a lower tier opponent than us. I think we have a big enough lead on McLeod to where it will not be an issue, but I cannot say the same for Niles Colclaw, who were in a very tight race for with Arizona and Texas. Had a good visit last week with the Wildcats, and I'm a little worried they could pass us, given we just lost this game. Otherwise, we're going to start to give points to players whose recruitments have moved a little bit slower, who I really want to prioritize. So McLeod and Colclaw are the two big battles now. And then Alaka and Azur are the only ones at 5. Everybody else is at 8 or 10 schools left. So we've got the two big ones now, and then we probably won't see any commitments for a few weeks. All right, with that, we'll simulate the week. We'll take a look at some scores across the nation. Conference play in full swing. We've got some good games this week, including number 14, Penn State, headed to the shoe to face off against number 2, the Ohio State University. Despite their number 2 ranking, the Buckeyes have looked very vulnerable this year. They're coming off their best win of the season against Rutgers. They've been shaky this season, and that showed in this game. Some trickery on the option. Simon Smith in for the score off the toss by fellow running back Christopher Liggett as Penn State upsets Ohio State. Sound the alarms. The Nittany Lions with Coach James Franklin have actually won a big game. Now, Wambly Mendoza was honestly pretty accurate. I would say this is one of his better games statistically. An intriguing quarterback with a lot of prior production, but the accuracy is really holding him back from being a top prospect. TK Dicer with a big game. He looks like the real deal as a first-round guy, but it was not enough. Penn State gets the better of the Bucks. Unbeaten Texas in the Red River rivalry facing off against Oklahoma, a team who's been a little up and down this year. That's certainly been the story for the Sooners quarterback Wyatt Cruz, but he put on his best performance of the year. The real star at the show, though, was wide receiver Greg Hicks. 8 catches, 245 yards, and 4 touchdowns in the upset win. Boomer Sooner. 42-35, Texas loses their first game of the year, falling to number 19. Wyatt Cruz played a really good game. He was accurate. He made big throws down the field, 5 touchdowns, 18 yards per completion. He looked like a first-round pick. That's the type of upside we're looking at with him. And then Greg Hicks, this guy was unguardable. As for Texas, Bryce Carver, who's had a really good year. I think his name was on the Heisman list. Not so great today in the loss for the Longhorns. Not time to panic with them, though. They're still a really good team. Number 19, Florida. Number 9, Arkansas facing off against each other next. The Gators have one of the youngest teams in college football, but it looks like they have one of the better teams as well. True freshman quarterback Mayer Stokes connecting with an incredible catch for wide receiver Chester Whymper as Florida upsets the Hogs 38-31. Florida now ranked number 13. Gerald Hannock with 3 scores, and Kyle Mays, who leads college football in rushing, with another really good game. Jameel Maul, the freshman receiver, continuing to play well for Arkansas, but it was not enough. Mayer Stokes played really well, 373 yards. True freshman running back Malachi Dunham had a good game as well. USC, number 8, undefeated, heads to Champaign to face off against the Fighting Illini of Illinois, who have been, in my opinion, one of the more disappointing teams in the country this year, and that continued today. Jackson connecting with possible first-round wide receiver Eli Drake, dunking over the goalpost. A big win for now number 6 USC, 42-10. Illinois was ranked, I think, right around the 15 spot going into the year, but they just have not been good. Derek Watson, the true freshman, has struggled to adjust. Anthony Anderson, the star running back, has been good but not great. As for Jackson, a little bit of everything. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Dylan Bellamy was held in check, but Matthew Firth and Eli Drake both played very well in the win. Washington heads to the Big House to face off against Michigan. The Wolverines undefeated, currently ranked number 7, and this game ended up being really good between two teams who I think could easily make the college football playoff, but it was the Wolverines who were able to take this one over the Huskies 42-40 in double overtime. The Wolverines climb up to number 4. Elijah Pyle with a really good game through the air. Hakeem Akindele leads the way, 195 yards and 2 scores. As for Washington, Paul Green Jr. coming along. Cannon Cunningham continues to play well, but it's not enough. Northwestern heads to Nebraska to face off against the Cornhuskers. The breakout star of this college football season has been sophomore running back Tamario Harold for Nebraska, and he continued his excellent campaign in a dominant win for the 6-1 Cornhuskers as they beat Northwestern 58-7. Nebraska now ranked number 25. I don't think that's doing them enough justice. 5 touchdowns for Antoine Easy, while Harold, 126 yards and 2 scores. It seems like they're giving him the ball more. His yards per carry went down with this performance, where he still happened to play really, really well. As for Northwestern, Bailey Travers, not so good. 3 interceptions in the loss. Tennessee, ranked number 1, heads to the SIP to face off against Ole Miss. This was the game I was excited for most this week, and it lived up to the billing. But Ole Miss, with standout quarterback Zarius Stone, was able to get the upset, knocking off number 1 with this score by George Garcia, 47-45, in a classic shootout where both teams combined for over 90 points and close to 1,100 yards. 5 scores, 75% completion percentage for Stone. I think right now he is firmly in the conversation to be QB1. I think Brendan Holloway of Notre Dame currently holds that mark, but QB2, I would probably say Stone right now. He has had an unbelievable season for the Rebels and has more production than any quarterback currently in college football. Kamari Fisher was wasn't bad, wasn't all that good either. And then we'll wrap things up in Fort Worth. Number 6, Arizona State against number 20, TCU. This ended up being one of them classic Big 12 games with over 100 total points scored, but it was Arizona State in double overtime with this passing touchdown by senior quarterback Tempe Chesney to win it 54-48. The Sun Devils now ranked number 5. Chesney with 3 scores, completing 81% of his throws. He was electric. Also added a score on the ground. He's been one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the country. He needs to be getting more NFL draft love. And I think the same can be said for Carson Mayfield. The redshirt sophomore was terrific for TCU. And NFL scouts are really taking notice of him, whether he declares for the draft this year or in the future. He looks like a legit long-term prospect. Let's take a look at some scores across the country. SMU continuing their dominant season. They're 7-0, beating Syracuse 56-10. USF, they're scoring more points than just about anybody. They put up 54. ECU only with 44. I really hope we get a USF-ECU rematch in the American Athletic Championship. Stanford over Wake Forest. Maryland is now ranked. Clemson with a good win over Pitt. The Tigers are playing better, while Pitt, not so much. Granted, they've had a brutal schedule. Miami back on track. Georgia, the new number 1 team. Oklahoma State with a squeaker against Cincinnati. Alabama puts up 52 on Kentucky, while Notre Dame gets 49 against Louisville. Much of the same for quarterback Brendan Holloway. And then another big win for Texas Tech. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. I'm impressed that Georgia Tech was able to beat Texas Tech earlier in the year. The Yellow Jackets also beat Florida State. They are now 5-1, getting set for their matchup next week against our Virginia Tech Hokies. That's going to be a really tough game. We're going to be comfortable underdogs going into that one as we take a look at some scores across the rest of the nation. I feel like this week more than ever there were so many high-scoring games. Central Michigan puts up 49 on Ohio. Toledo puts up a bunch of points seemingly every week. Oregon loses to Iowa. The Ducks are 0-3 in conference play. Oregon is flat out bad. Vanderbilt, meanwhile, 6-1. Where's their spot in the rankings? LSU with a squeaker over Fresno State. The Tigers are not so good. Granted, Fresno State was undefeated. And then Ball State puts up 66 on Western Michigan. That is a lot. So here are our new rankings. Plenty of movement at the top with number 1 and number 2 losing this week. Georgia number 1, SMU number 2, and Notre Dame number 3. It feels like those 3 teams are kind of the tier above everybody else right now, including the other unbeatens behind them. Maryland and Nebraska joined the fold. They replaced TCU and Memphis, who both end up dropping out. As for the players of the week, no major surprise on offense after that big game from Greg Hicks in the Red River rivalry, and another Greg Case Vhorn. In the ACC, Tyree Wells with another standout game for SMU, and Seth Pryor of Duke. He deserves it. He played really well against us. Julian Hero and Brendan Holloway hold their spots on the Heisman list, followed by Tyree Wells, TK Dicer, and Kieran Riddle. Honestly, no complaints with that group. I think all 5 of those guys have been phenomenal, and I don't really have a gripe against any of them being on the Heisman list. So that gets us set for a pivotal stretch in the next episode. We're 0-2 in conference. Georgia Tech is 3-0. The Yellow Jackets have been one of the biggest surprises in the country this year. They have a point differential of just 19, though, which is lower than ours. They beat Texas Tech, though, and I think Texas Tech is one of the 10 best teams in college football at minimum. After the Georgia Tech game, we'll face off against Pitt. They're only 2-4, but I think their record is a lot worse than their team actually is. They've had a really hard schedule up to this point, so that's going to be a tough matchup for us as well. The ACC slate is not easy for us, and if we continue to lose games, we could easily end up not even going to a bowl. That'll wrap up the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Madden 26 team reveal is tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned for the premiere time. Peace out.